Good morning, grade 3. A warm welcome to today's English lesson. This week we've been reading The Trail of Tears, which was a paired selection for the anchor text Yonder Mountain. So today we're going to do something that's associated with this lesson, and we're going to write an informational paragraph. So the learning objective of today's lesson is to create a mind map, then write a rough draft, and then finally proofread it so that you can create a final copy which is neat, clean, and proofread. So let's get started. Now, before we begin, please do not forget to pause this video or replay it for better understanding. Great. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you the topic of today's informational paragraph, which is a good leader. And what you need to do is that you need to first brainstorm ideas. What are the qualities, characteristics of a good leader? And you're going to create a mind map. And when you do that, what you're going to do is that you're going to think about Yonder Mountain and the paired selection that you read. What were the qualities of the three men? Who won the seat for the chief? Who became the leader? So what you're going to do is you're going to make a word web or a mind map where you put the title of your topic in the middle, and then you associate words that come into your brain. Okay, so when I think about a good leader, these are the words that pop into my head. A good leader needs to have a vision. It definitely needs to be honest, cares for his people, her people, hardworking, motivates and inspires, confident and responsible. So confidence and responsibility are traits of a good leader. All these words come into my head. Now you can always add into these vocabulary that you see here. This is just me showing you how it's done. So these are the words that come into my brain, and what I'm going to do next is that I'll take these qualities or characteristics that I think a good leader should possess, and I'm going to create a rough draft. Alright, grade 3, so what I've done is that I've taken all those words that came into my head when I was thinking about a good leader, and I have jotted down them, scribbled down some phrases and sentences using those key points. Now there might be some mistakes. Maybe my sentence order is wrong, maybe I haven't structured the sentence in the right way, or there might be spelling mistakes. This is where proofreading comes in handy. So let's look at the parts of an informational paragraph. Now you can see clearly that your informational paragraph should have 4 important components. And the first one is the topic sentence that clearly tells the reader what you're writing about. This is very important. It's an opening sentence. It sets the impression. So you want to make sure that it's clear. Then later, number 2, you're going to put in facts that support your ideas, and you're going to give details and quote an example or 2. Then the third point here is definition. That basically means that if you're stating a point, you might want to add some explanation to the meaning of the word you've used. That way you give a nice impression to your writing. And finally, you're going to close your paragraph by a concluding statement that sums up the entire information. It's like a nice goodbye summarized closing statement. Now, I want you to pause this video and read the rough draft that I have created. You can see that I started with the first sentence where I mentioned the important traits: hard work, confidence, responsibility. And then I quoted an example from the lesson Yonder Mountain. I spoke about soaring eagle and how he worked hard and reached the top of the mountain. He was very confident, showed responsibility, etc. Then down below the first 4 lines, you can see that I have written: a leader creates an inspiring vision of the future. The word vision was one of the words that came into my head when I brainstormed, and then I explained a bit about what does a vision do, how does it engage people, and how a leader is able to motivate and inspire the people he or she leads. And then I've written the quality of honesty, but there are lots of mistakes here, okay? So I want you to pause and think about this rough draft. What could I have done to make it better? Where do I need to proofread for spellings, etc. And then I'll show you how I have rearranged and structured this paragraph on the next slide. Alright, so here is my final copy. Now, I've made some changes and I hope that you paused the video and you read the rough draft. You can see that I've moved a few lines, and my first topic sentence is very clear now. A good leader creates an inspiring vision of the future. So it's a very clear statement that tells you that you're about to read about the qualities of a good leader. Then I have added he or she is able to motivate and inspire people to engage with that vision. Now, why is that he or she in red? Because I didn't want it to repeat the word leader and leader and leader again and again. So that's another change I made. Then right below where the box for facts is, this is where I've pulled down the example of yonder mountain and soaring eagle, and I fixed the capitalization that was required because this is the title of our lesson. And this was a mistake in my rough draft. I've added a comma, and then I've coded the example and I've given facts, right? Then down below for the definition, I fixed the spelling of honesty. H was missing, it's a silent H, and I have fixed the spelling and I've given a nice flow to my informational paragraph. Look at my concluding statement, right? I've made some changes here as well, so you can always go back and check for the differences. Now, this is a very important practice where you correct the order of sentences, you make sure there is no repetition, you proofread for grammatical errors and spellings, and you create your final copy. Now, this is just a sample that I've modeled in this lesson. What are you going to do today? Grade 3, it's time to wrap up this lesson. Please do not forget to write this informational paragraph in your own words. And as far as coding an example for a great leader, you could think about His Highness Sheikh Thamim. We know that he has exceptionally excellent leadership skills, and you can quote him as an example and define his leadership skills. I'm going to post in some links for you that will help you to form your informational paragraph today. And once you're done, do not forget to share what you learned in today's lesson. Best of luck, grade 3.